morning to one and all present here. I take this opportunity to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Nandakumar R. Dave. He's a civil engineer graduate from IIT Madras. After working in government and private companies in 1967, he got himself self-employed as consulting engineer and builder. Since last 55 years, he has to his credit construction of many prestigious residential, commercial, community and industrial buildings. He has developed expertise in construction of multi-storied complexes in continuous area building zones of Chennai city. The repairs and alterations of buildings is another area where he has developed expertise. He has written papers on social aspects of civil engineering, cracks and repairs in buildings, maintenance of buildings, etc. He is a member of the Concrete Association of India, Valuers Association, Fellow of Institution of Engineers and Fellow of Institution of Valuers. In the social and public field, he was under Sheriff of Madras in 1994. He was Diamond Jubilee District Governor of Lions Club International in 1991-92. He is the author and managing trustee of Lions Hearing Aid District 324 AI, Lions A1, Lions iBank Trust and Foundation. He is the founder trustee of Lions Foundation for the Blind. He has been chiefly responsible in the creation of Lions Cornea block for which Government of Tamil Nadu issued a GO allotting land to construct Lions Cornea block, which is now the standing monument of service in the premises of Ophthalmic Hospital. The Lions model eye bank, of which he is the innovator, is a standing monument of service to cyclists at Government Ophthalmic Hospital. Doordarshan has interviewed him on social service activities. He is a life member of the Institution of Engineers. He is the president of Hindu Theological Higher Secondary School, which is a 130-year-old organization. He has been awarded Distinguished Alumnus Award by IIT Madras in 1996. In 2008, Sri Gujarati Mandal awarded him Chennai Gurjar Ratna Award, and Jagadguru Shankaracharya of Kanchi Kamakoti Peetam, Puja Sri Jayendra Saraswati Swamiji, conferred Janaseva title on him on 12th June 2010. He has been awarded Paul Harris Fellow Award by Rotary International to honor his services in the field of eye donation. After completing MA in 2002, he has been awarded PhD in 2010 for his thesis on the Hindu science of architecture and his practices, with special reference to Raja Vallabha, which was later published by the Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan. As a trustee, he is actively connected with Initiative for Moral and Cultural Training, which imparts values and samskaras to school students. He is the current chairman of Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel Memorial Trust. I now invite Sir to give his talk.
Dr. Balasubramaniam, very respected and revered Dr. Anantaraman, the Secretary Srimati Srita, and all learned members of the audience. At the outset, I am thankful to Dr. Anantaraman for having talked about astrology, the structural astrology, because whatever I am going to talk now, as far as mathematical calculations are concerned in Vastu Shastra, almost many terminologies will be utilized of astrology. So I think it will be very easy for the audience to understand them. Yeah, we'll start with our prayers to Saraswati Devi, because without Saraswati's blessings, the Vastu cannot cannot be understood and cannot be implemented. So, our pranams to Goddess Saraswati. Next. Yes, as was said in the introduction, since 1967, as a chartered civil engineer from IIT Madras, I started my own practice and constructed many buildings in the city of Madras. And while construction of modern buildings, that is RCC buildings, I also came across many old buildings, in Saukarpet area, that is Jottown, Power Town, many old buildings were there. There were 1-story, 2-story, 3-story buildings. And then when I found out that they were constructed with bricks in mud mortar, and there are also Madras Terrace. I don't know how many buildings now will have Madras Terrace, and the younger generation may not be able to find out what Madras Terrace is. But then at that time Madras Terrace was there, a very good roofing. Plastering was done with lime water. So these were some of the characteristics, and then for ventilation there were Kalyana Kudams. That is, in the center of the building they had openings, and round that we had the rooms. So these type of structures I came across, and then I was told that almost many buildings were east facing only as per Vastu. So I developed interest in Vastu Shastra, and that is how, after studying MA in Sanskrit, again of course through correspondence, I joined Madras University, and I had the guide Dr. Padmanabhan, who is very eminent professor, and then he became the head of the department of Sanskrit. And under him, I came across some of the books of this Vastu Shastra, the great books like Samrangana Sutradhara by Dr. Shukla, Mayamata by Bruno Degens, and Rajavallabha, that is by Manan Mishra, and Manushya Chandrika, again by Tirumala Swami. So all these books gave me an insight of what Vastu Shastra is there, and I developed interest in learning all the aspects. Next. So, well, what Vastu Shastra is there, that is defined by Dr. Acharya in Manasara Shilpa Shastra. See, Vastu is not only denoting what buildings are, that is how to construct buildings, but then it has got a wider implication, and that is how firstly it denotes all kinds of buildings, that is religious, residential, military and auxiliary. Secondly, it covers town planning, laying out gardens, constructing marketplaces, ports and harbour, making also the roads, bridges, gateways, then triumphant arches, digging wells, tanks, trenches, drains, towers, moats, buildings, and then enclosure walls, embankments, railing, landing places, steps for mills, bathing arts, and ladders. Then even the articles of furniture like bedsteads, wardrobes, baskets, cages, conveyances, lamps, and lampposts, they are also included, including the crowns, footwear, and armware. Architecture also deals with sculpture, image of animals and birds. It's concerned with selection of site, testing of soil, planning, designing, and finding out cardinal points and astrological and astronomical calculations. Next. Next slide. Now we know, I'm just explaining, about the placement of rooms in a building and how it is related to the motion of sun. So as we know, there are totally 4 main directions. East, there is Purva, Paschim, Uttar, Dakshin, east, west, north, south. And we have got 4 corners. This corner, as you know, is Isha, Agni, Nairutya and Vayavya. That is northeast, southeast, southwest and northwest. Before the sun rises, I think this has been mentioned also about the sun by our previous speaker. Before the sun rises, there is enormous of beneficial UV rays in between 4 a.m. and 7 a.m. We call generally 3:34 as Brahma Muhurtam, 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. And when the sun is in Isha, it is the time of Brahma Muhurtam. The advantage of the UV rays, it is recommended that balconies and windows should be placed in north and east direction. When many people say that no, you place windows in that direction, you may be wondering why. But now this is a scientific reason, and calculations are that you should always place the windows and balconies on north side. Even the puja room, that should be placed to be on the north side, where meditation can be performed. Between 7 a.m. and 10 a.m., the sun is in east direction when bathing and subsequent activities take place. So the direct sunlight dries up the bathroom facing east, and that is why the bathroom is recommended on the eastern side. Between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m., the sun moves to the southeast, emitting infrared waves, which are called thermic waves. This is very important for ladies, because the heat, infrared generates heat, and that's the right time for what? Cooking. Because for cooking you require heat, and the best direction for that is the southeast, and that is why the kitchens are recommended to be kept on southeast. Yes. And this is the time and place for cooking, especially by women, and here again Agni corner is recommended. Between 1 a.m. and 4 p.m. the sun is in south direction, and this is the time for rest. Of course, we do take rest, and hence it is recommended to have bedroom on the south side. It is also recommended to grow trees on the south side to get shades from the trees. We always say in Vastu that don't have tall trees on the east side or north side, but then have tall trees on the south side and the west side. It is also, then between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. the sun is in southwest direction. This is the time for commercial and other related activities, with head of the family seated there. The head of the family always sits in a room, and it is recommended that he should sit in the southwest room just to conduct the family affairs and business affairs. It is also recommended that southwest should be slightly elevated than the other direction. Northeast should be lower. Hence, recommended that master bedroom in the Nairutya. Nairutya is that southwest. Between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. the sun is in west direction. This is the time for dinner, and the family get together, and hence dining room cum living room is recommended on the west side, because that's the time when people of the family meet, they chat, and then they have the food, and that is why living room and dining room is recommended in the west direction. This is the time for dinner, and family get together. Dining cum living room is recommended west side. Between 10 p.m. and 1 p.m. the sun is in the northwest direction. This is the time for rest, and hence bedroom is recommended in the northwest. many of the Vastu people, they will say that have bedroom on the northwest, and this is the reason that you should have the bedroom on the northwest. This is also the direction of the wind, and hence it's recommended to place water closet and latrine in the northwest. Between 1 a.m. and 4 a.m. the sun is in north direction, that is the Kubera direction. And that is why in ancient times they preferred, for protection of the world like gold, silver, etc., a room on the north side, that is Kubera direction. Now this is the movement of the sun. We have found out the logic of placements of various rooms of a dwelling. This is known as Vastu placement of a room. So I think it's very clear now to our audience that why the rooms are particularly recommended to be placed in these type of directions. Next. Now, I think as far as the mathematical calculations are concerned, in our Vastu, they have fundamental canons. 5 canons are there of Hindu architecture. These 5 fundamental pillars of stable edifice of the science, they are: first is Dina Nirnaya. See, always you have to find out the doctrine, in the doctrine of orientation, which is the east direction, which is the west direction, which is the north, and which is the south. Now, nobody knows the actual east direction, how to place the building. Of course, now you have got so many instruments which will point out, your compass can point out that north, west and all that, but still, in our olden times, they said, let us have Dina Nirnaya, that is doctrine of orientation. Second is Vastu Pada Vinyasa, the site planning. The site also should have planning, how the site should be, how it should be square or rectangle or any shape. Then we must have Mana or Hasta Lakshana, the proportionate measures of a structure. When a structure is made, then it should have proportions. Then only it is Vastu good. See, now in architecture, I don't think that architecture tells us what type of room should be there, what should be the length, what should be the breadth, what should be the height. But then our Shilpa Shastra, Vastu Shastra, actually guides us as to, first of all, how you should have a site, how you should construct a building facing east, and how each room should have proportions. It's really scientific, it's really mathematical. I don't think that presently we learn how to have the proportions of the room. So here there is, also Vastu Shastra indicates as how we should also have the proportion of the rooms. And then Ayadi Shadavarga, the 6 canons of Hindu architecture. And then finally, Patakadi Shatashandas, the perspective of a building. Because once the building is constructed, you should know how the building should be. Next slide. Now, Dina Nirnaya, this is Prachi Sadhana. You can see the figure, how we should actually find out to which is the right east. So for that, a 18 to 24 inches wooden peg is recommended. Go to the terrace or go to the open ground, and before the sunrise, just have a point wherein the peg is driven. And then as the sun rises, you know that the shadow of the peg will be falling on the west side of the peg. A circle is drawn. I think in the top you can see a small circle is there. A circle is drawn, and then wherever the peg shadow comes on the circle, that is being marked. Then exactly at 12 o'clock in the noon, the sun falls on the center of the peg, and that particular thing is marked. And then in the sun, when it sets, it's on the western side. So the shadow falls on the east. So when the shadow falls on the east of the circle, mark out that. then join the line. That is exactly the east and west line. So this is how correctly they could say that this is the east, this is west, and perpendicular to that, in the major and bigger figure, two circles are drawn in such a way that a fish-like structure is formed. So once the east and west direction is drawn, then the two corner points of the fish is joined together, and that becomes the north and south direction. So east, west, north, south, that is determined. The right directions have been determined. Now, this the technical device and scientific implication is that truly east gets exposure of the field of action of solar radiation. Towards sunrise, all radiation from ultraviolet on the extreme northern end of the eastern facet to the whole range of visible radiation ending in infrared have their full play. And then philosophical implication is that related to Vastu Purusha Mandala, the metaphysical plan of a Hindu building, the surface of the earth, please note this, surface of the earth is represented by a square which connects the four cardinal points. Next slide. Yeah, there you see the Vastu Paravinyasa, the plan. The planned surface of site of the building is known as Vastu Purusha Mandala. As per Brihat Samhita, it can be converted into triangle, octagon, hexagon, and circle of equal area. Place of adjustment of solar and lunar cycles, already pointed out by our earlier speaker, the solar and lunar cycles. The sides of squares are subdivided, 32 positions, that is 4 times 8 is occupied by divinities. 4 are planets and 28 nakshatra. Of course, Sir said 27 nakshatra, but here one more nakshatra is added. I think it's Abhijit, sir. Right. So 28 nakshatra and 4 cardinal directions, so 32 divinities. Professor Cambridge, this is again very interesting. Professor Cambridge from Paris, she has gone through completely Vastu Shastra, especially regarding temple, and she has written, the form of the square is the stage on which is drawn while it is being acted, the movement of sun and moon, and that of their years in unequal course, their meeting, reconciliation, and fresh beginning towards one more coincidence. Such inequality, such imperfection are the cause of existence. Very important sentence, please note this. Such inequality, such imperfection are the cause of existence. The seasons are brought by Earth's 23.5 degree, that is inclination. That's what you see there. The summer equinox, the winter equinox, the ritus, the 6 ritus, they're all caused because of 23.5 degree inclination. And hence, if we are existing today, if the universe is existing today, it is because of imperfection. If there was perfection, there would have been no existence. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. Like that, there would have been no existence. Because of this imperfection, we are existing. The world is there. That means in imperfection, there is always a remainder. This is a very basic, mathematical formula of Vastu Shastra, which we will come to next. Now we are seeing the Vastu Paravinyasa, the plan, wherein you see the Vastu Purusha facing the north direction, and the legs are on the southwest. So the imperfection serves as the basis for all astrological forecasts and astronomical calculation. There is always a reminder. The prototype of lines and divisions has the measure of breadth, direction and width. They also share in its extent, represented in adequate ratio, and their points of intersection are vital parts and tender spots of the site. No pillar, door, wall column should be erected on them. This is very important. See, the Vastu Purusha Mandala is given, and there you have got the 7 deities on all the sides. Then we have got the four corner deities, and in the middle you have got the movement of the sun, and they are being represented by the deities. So the lines are drawn, each the deity being given the divisions, and wherever the intersection takes place in those lines, they are called marma points, and there no pillar, door, wall, column should come. This is the important again aspect of Vastu Shastra. Let's go to next. Ultraviolet end is called chemical spectrum, and infrared is called thermic. Now, we say Brahma Murta, we say that, in the northeast we should keep the meditation room, puja room. Why? You can see now that it's scientifically related. Cosmic rays, their Armstrong units, that is 0.003 to 0.006, like gamma rays also is given. Röntgen rays are also given, and ultraviolet rays, they are 200 to 3,900 Armstrong units. And infrared rays are 7,700 to 40 lakhs Armstrong units. The northeast corner, Ishan, corresponds to ultraviolet segment. Its rupa or form has attributes starting from Nilakant to 15th rupa Shankara. That is, you see the spectrum, and that spectrums in our Hindu Vastu Shastra, they are divided into 15 rupas. So Nilakant is first and Shankar is last. The southeast corner, that is Agni, corresponds to the infrared segment. The rupa of Agni has been minutely studied by Indian savants and unfolds a variety of mysterious scientific problems. So they had also studied very minutely the ultraviolet rays and the infrareds, and also found out their uses for our common good. Now our science now tells us about that. Our rishis had already pointed out these things long back. Next we come to Mana, Hastalakshana. Hastalakshana, Mana means measurements. Proportionate measurement, technically it is the height. Now, Mana is, we have given the explanation of Mana, that is, we have got the height, then Pramana, the measurement of breadth, then Parimana, the measurement of width or circumferences, Lambamana, the length, measurement along the plumb line, and then Upmana, the measurement of thickness or diameter, and the measurement of interspace, such as distance between the 2 feet of a image. So these are all the names given, so precisely the sculptor can find out how to go about building a structure. Now, there are also the heights. The names are given Santika. Suppose if you want to construct a structure, then which will be the best for you? For that, Santika means peaceful, where the height and breadth, they are equal proportion. They are graceful also and equal proportion. Then Paustika, strong and rich but perfect. So where height is 1/4 and breadth is good stability. Then we have got Jayada, that is job giving, and height is 1.5 and breadth is pleasant, that is appearance is good. And Adbhuta, wherein height is 2, breadth, and height is 2, breadth, and that is wonderful loftiness and gorgeous look. That is a multi-storied building type, which is Adbhuta. Next. Now, the measurement in the olden days, actually what we now call inches, that was called angula. Angula is about 3/4 of an inch. hasta about 18 inches, and again there is difference in Vastu Shastra books. Some books say hasta is 24 inches, some say 18 inches. Again, the angulas are of three kinds: Uttama, Madhya and Kanishta. Uttama means the longest, Madhyama means middle, and Kanishta is the smallest. Then even hastas are of three kinds: superior, ordinary and inferior, consist of 8 parvas, divisions, parts. The middle half of wooden hasta, asterisk is to be indicated and balance to be provided into angulas indicated by lines. We have got a scale now. Similarly, that scale consisted of hasta, and again each parva, that means each division, rekhas have presiding deities beginning from the center to the place of Brahma. Next. Here we have got the time numbers. Actually, again, to our earlier speaker, he has mentioned, and here it is as per Vastu Shastra. They have arrived the time in this way. First, eye twinkling. Just you close your eyes, open your eyes, close your eyes, open your eyes, 1 nimisha. 15 nimishas is 1 kasta. 30 kastas is 1 kala. 30 kala is 1 muhurta. Muhurta was mentioned as 45 minutes. Here is 30 kala, 1 muhurta. Then 30 muhurta is day and night. Correct. Isn't it? 30 muhurta is day and night. Then 15 ahoratra. Ahoratra, day and night, is 1 paksha. 15 days is 1 paksha. 2 pakshas is 1 month. 1 masa. 2 masa is 1 rutu. 3 rutus is 1 ayana. And 2 ayanas are 1 year. Again, all the astronomical things here we have just been defining in Vastu Shastra. Next. Even the gaja. Now, how is the gaja divided into angles? So, 1 angula is matra. It is called matra. 2 angulas kata. 3 angulas parva. 4 angulas musti. 5 angulas tala. 6 angulas karapada. 24 angulas gaja or aratni. 84 angulas, 1 purusha. I mean, this again is important. Now, purusha means, say, average your height, purusha. And that is given as 84 angulas. 84 angulas means, if you calculate now, angula is 1 inch, it will become 7 feet. Isn't it? But 1 angula is 3/4 inch. Isn't it? So, it is 5.5 feet to 5 feet 9 inches, and that is the average height of person, Purusha. Then 96 angulas is 1 Dhanusha, 106 angulas is Danda. The measurement was by Danda, the major measurements. 1000 Dhanusha was 1 Kosa, and 2 Kosas 1 Gavyuti, 2 Gavyuti 1 Yojana. So this is, we now have distance in miles, kilometer. This was our distance, Yojana, okay, Gavyuti, Kosha, Danda, like that. Next. Next we come to Ayadi Sharavarga. Again, this is mainly astrology, what has been given. According to Samarangana Sutradhara, Ayadi is a group of 6 formulae with which perimeter of structure should conform. Now, I was talking about the proportions of a structure. So, these are the formulae which are given, through which you have got to test the proportion of rooms and building. There are 6 proportions, 6 main component parts of a building, consisting of adhisthana, foundation and basement, adhisthana, pada or stamba, column, the columns, what you see, prastara, entablatures, like you have got beams, then karna, wings. Wherever this entablature is there, karna, it is called karna. Shikhara, roof, this is the roof. And stupi, dome, on the top of the structure, the dome is there. Every measurement before it is accepted is required to satisfy the following 6 formula. Aya, Vaya, Amsha, Ruksha, Yoni, Vara and Tithi. Next. In Aya, we have got group of 8 beginning with, again, names have been given. 8 beginnings are there, 8 directions are there. Names are given with Dvaja, Dhuma, Simha, Swa, Vrusha, Khara, Kunjara and Dvangsha. And as far as Vyaya is concerned, group of 3, Pisacha, Rakshasa, Yaksha. Amsha, we have got group of 3, Indra, Yama and Raja. And then Ruksha, we have got Tara distributed in 3 groups of 9 each. Suragana, Rakshasa Gana, Manushya Gana, Ruksha. Then Ruksha Gana represents a group of 27 stars, like Ashwini, Bharani, has already been pointed out earlier. It also deals with Rashi, Nakshatra, Gana and Varna. And then comes Yoni, group of 8 which represents 8 quarters. The group of 8 of Aya is treated as Yoni. In Samrangana Sutradhara, according to Rajavallabha, there are 14 Yonis. See, there is difference in even the books of Vastu Shastra. Vara, Tithi, Lagna, Varga and Nadi. All this has been dealt earlier by our learned speaker earlier. Next. So here, now again, for every Aya, it has been given as Dvaja. That is the east direction. See, there are 8. And that's what I told earlier, cardinal directions 4 and corner directions 4. Totally 8. So they have been divided into 8 parts, like Dvaja east, and that has got a human face. Here the neck is like lion, hands of human and legs like bird. That type of figure is there. Then Dhuma is southeast, cat. Simha is south, that is lion. Then we have got dog, Swa. Then Vrusha, west, it's bull. Then Khara, northwest is donkey. Kunjara is north, elephant. And Dvangsha is north, crow. Next. So these are the figures. You see in the corners, in the 8 corners, it looks like a horoscope, isn't it? Yeah, we have got 8 corners and there, all these ayas, there is a male and female figure. They are being demonstrated. So these are the different ayas. Now let's go to next. Yes. Amongst ayas, the first Dvaja, the third Simha, the fifth Vrusha, and 7th Kunjara are the best for temple construction. That is how the names have been given, and which are good for temple. That is, we have got these ayas which have been mentioned here: Dvaja, Simha, Vrusha, and Kunjar. Then we have got Dhuma is good for sacrificial altars, like Yagnas and all that, Yagna Kundas. Then we have got Simha, that is for palace, lion, main door. Then for, at that time, barber's house also occupied attention. Vrusha also for shop, house of businessmen, then dining. And then Khara for laundry and house of musical instruments, Gaja for conveyance, furniture house. Maybe here the occupation was taken also into account for construction of a dwelling and concealing the eyes. See how nicely you have taken into account the functions of people. Then Dvangsha is good for sculptors and medicals house. Now what? Multiply length and breadth of land and divide area by 8. The remainder are ayah starting from Dvaja. So this is how we have got to arrive at Dvaja. Next. Now we come to Vyaya. See, ayah means income and Vyaya is expenditure. Okay. So now let us see what is Vyaya. After getting the quotient after dividing area by 8, divide the quotient by 27 to get the remainder, Nakshatra, starting from Ashwini. After getting the quotient of Nakshatra, divide the same by 8 to get Vyaya. So now, Vyaya figure, if it is less than Aya figure, it increases in wealth naturally. Economy, isn't it? Modern economy, the budget has just now come. And we always look forward saying that, okay, how much we are going to benefit. So similarly, if Aya is more, Vyaya is less, it's beneficial. If Vyaya and Aya are the same, then it is Pishacha. That is the Aya. And if except Dvaja, Aya, if Vyaya comes more than Aya, then it is Rakshasa. So don't have that. You can't have more expenditure than income. Next. Then we have got Amsha as the number of original Rasi to Vyaya, a number, and add to that number of alphabets of the name of the house. Manorama, of course, English don't consider. It is in Sanskrit you should consider. Manorama is 4 letters, isn't it? Here, of course, in English, if you consider, we will say, oh, where is it 4? It's wrong. No. It is Manorama, 4 letters in Sanskrit. So divide that total by 3. If remainder is 1, it is Indransha. If 2, then Yamansha. If 3, by Vajansa. And it's good for temple and sacrificial places. That is, Indransha is good. Yamansa are good for shops, for housing, for horse, elephant, conveyance, towns, places and housing. And Rajasa is the best. That is the Rajansha is the best. Then you got Ruksha and Tara. So from the birth of Nakshatra of the house owner, count the house Nakshatra. Whichever number comes, divide that by 9 to get the remainder Tara number. The first, second, then 4th, 6th, 8th and 9th Taras. Out of this, any Tara comes is good. Next. I'm just going fast because astrologically this has been explained, okay, and this requires a little bit of application of mind in mathematics to arrive at all these figures of Aya, Vyaya, Ruksha, Tara and all that. Then Rakshi, Nakshatra, Gana, etc. Okay, place from Akritika, 7 Nakshatra in east. Place from Magha, 7 Nakshatra in south. Anuradha, from Anuradha to 7 Nakshatra in west, and Dhanishta 7 Nakshatra in north. In whichever direction the nakshatra of the house comes, understand that Chandra is in that direction. So, we have talked about earlier about our horoscope, that is horoscope of men, women and children. But here is a horoscope of even house. And Chandra should be in proper direction whenever the house is started for construction. So if Chandra comes at the backside of the house, it's harmful. If Chandra comes in the front of the house, it reduces life of the house. If Chandra comes on the right or left of the house, then it is good. So if from the house owner's Rashi, the house Rashi comes 3rd, 4th, 7th, 10th and 11th, it is good. Generally, yes, these are all the good positions that has been mentioned, and every Rashi has either 3 full or 2 full and 1 partial nakshatra. That has been already told, 2 1/4 nakshatras. Next. Now Gana, we have got Dev Ganas. There all the nakshatras are given which come under Devgana, like Shravana, Pushya, Ashwini, Mrugashirsha, Anuradha, Swati, Revati, Hasta and Punarvasu. Manushya Gana, that is Bharani, Rohini, Purva Falguni, Purvashada, Purva Bhadrapada, Uttra Falguni, Uttrashada, Uttra Bhadrapada and Arudra. Then Rakshasa Gana, you got Mool, Vishaka, Kritika, Magha, Chitra, Dhanishta, then Shatabhisha, Jesta and Ashlesha. Next. You got here Varna, how to calculate Varna. Then Mesha, Simha and Dhana, they are Kshatriya Varna, that is, and the Rashi is Dhana Rashi. Vrusha, Kanya and Makara, it is Vaishya Karna, Vaishya Varna, and it is Kanya Rashi. Mithuna, Tula, Kumbha, it is Kshudra Varna, it is Mithuna Rashi. Then Karka, Vrishika and Meena, it is Brahmin Varna, it is Meena Rashi. So these are the Varnas. Next. These are all the yonis. Those have been, we always mention the horoscope yoni also. So these yonis are there where Ashwa, Hasti, Chag, Sharpa, Shwan, Marjar, then Undar, that is Mushaka, Gau, Mahishi, Vyagra, Mruga, Vanara, Nakula, Simha. Next. So these are the Ghanas, what we say. Then formula of, now I have just told you about the Aya, Vyaya calculations and all the other calculations, majority of these proportions, if they are coming good, acceptable, then that house is good. But in Manasara, we have been given a very simple formula. Maybe many people will prefer this in Manasara. L length, B breadth, C circumference or height. L into 8 by 12, whatever remainder is Aya. Now, which Aya is good, that I already told you. So, that you have to see. Breadth into 9 by 12, remainder is Vyaya. A room or a structure, anything, just take the length or take the breadth, multiply into these numbers, whatever remainder is there, you see the Vyaya. 9th into 8 by 27, our remainder is Ruksha. Breadth into 3 by 8, that is, remainder is Yoni. Circumference into 9 by 7 is, remainder is Vara. And again circumference into 9 by 30, remainder is Tithi. Now, as seen from the above, Aya and Ruksha test the length measurement. So, for testing length measurement, what you should see, Aya and Ruksha. Vyaya and Yoni test the breadth. Vara and Tithi test the circumference or height. Next, Tithi, Vara, Lagna. Add the figure of Aya, Nakshatra, Tara, Vyaya and Amshaka. To this addition, divide by 15. The remainder is Tithi of the house. I mean, how to arrive at Tithi, that also is given here. To the figure of addition, divide by 7. The remainder is Vara. That is the day. And to that figure, addition, divide by 12 to get Lagna. Already Lagna has been discussed, isn't it? That comes there. Varga of the house and house owner. Multiply length and breadth of the house to this, add the figure of the house. To the resulting number, divide by 8. The remainder is the house's Varga. There are 8 Vargas, out of which any Varga from 2nd, 4th, 6th and 8 is the best. Next. Here the 8 Vargas again given. You know, wherever 8 Vargas are given or any 8 is given, that is as per the directions and corner directions. So we have got Garuda, Marjara, Simha, Swa, Sarpa, Mushaka, Mruga and Medrana. Now there are the lots of 8 directions and corners of the house in a clockwise direction from east. Next. The Varga of house owner. So how to find out the Varga of house owner? Here it is A, E, U, A, K, Kh, G, G. I mean, these are all the alphabets which are in Sanskrit. Though it is written in English, they are all Sanskrit only. So the following group of vowels and consonants. Vowels are A, I, A, E, U, and A. These are all the Garuda Varga. Next are all consonants, that is Ka to Ha. And if the name of the house owner begins with any of the syllable of a group, then that is the Varga of the house owner. Reject that where the house Varga comes 5th from house owner's Varga. So these are the empirical calculations, those have been given to find out the Varga owner and Varga of the house. Next. Nadi Chakra. This is a form of serpentine divided into 9 parts. In each part, 3 nakshatras are there. First part is known as Adyanadi, second is Madhyanadi, third part is known as Antyanadi. So, the nadi of husband and wife should not be same. Known? Yes, sir? It should not be same. Right. But it is called Nadi Veda. And they should be different for owner and servant, friend and friend, house and house owner, town and king, there can be same. For town and king, it can be same. Okay. Then applying IRD, if majority of proportions are as per requirement and there are only few faults, then with that house or temple construction, one can go ahead. So, I have just given a picture as to how you can design a Vastu enabling house. Then you've got the perspectives. Now perspectives they are called Sata Chandas, and Chanda is the rhythm of the structure like that of poetry. The science of meters or rhythms, Chandas, extends to the rhythmical disposition of the ground plan of the building and their vertical section, that is perspective view of the building. As per Samarangana Sutra Dhara and Aprajita Prucha, there are 6 types of Chandas: Khanda, Khandameru, Pataka, then Suchi, Udishta and Nasta. Udishta and Nasta actually they are not perspectives, but then arriving of the particular level, prastara of these chandas. Next, this is Meru Chandas. And I have given an example of Tanjore temple. Why have I given example of Tanjore temple? Because all these temples in Tamil Nadu, we have got Dravida type towers. Only here in Tanjore, it is Nagara type. As we see in all temples here, as soon as you enter, the tower is highest. As you go in, tower after tower after tower to Garbhagriha, it is the lowest. In Nagara architecture, as soon as you enter, it is small tower, then bigger, then you go in bigger, then you go in bigger, and in the Garbhagriha it is tallest. That is, it is adopted. In Tanjore temple, Cholas have adopted that Nagara architecture, and that is the Meru, because slowly it comes like this. Isn't it? As you see a mountain, a Meru mountain. Like that, when a portion of the Meru has been cut off vertically, this is now Khanda Meru. I have told earlier Meru. Now what is Khanda Meru? Now Khanda Meru is again an example wherein when a portion of the Meru has been cut off vertically, leaving the exposed surface of a precipitated cliff, it's called Khanda Meru. So whatever in Dravida type of temples we see, that is Khanda Meru coming like this. Okay. Then next we have got Pataka Chandas. Pataka is flag. And you have got here in Fatehpur Sikri, many of you might have visited. There is single pillar, and then out of that, just like a flag, the darbar was there where the king used to sit. So the view is assumed by flagstaff with the flag unfurled. The throne pillar in the hall of private audience of Fatehpur Sikri is the best illustration. Next comes Suchi. This is a vertical needle-like structure, Qutub Minar. You have seen already. The Qutub Minar at Delhi and minarets of Taj are examples. Next. Then Udishta and Nasta. Of course, if I dwell on this, it will take another 1 hour, so I can't take more time on this. And it is a separate subject altogether, that is the design of towers. So it is suffice to say that they are independent chandas. They have no perspective view of their own. They are the indicator of methods by means of which the number and details of a rupa, that is formed in a prastara, a tabular representation of the long and short vowels of meter with all possible varieties. These rupas may in either case assume a view which may be either a Meru, Khanda Meru, Pataka or Suchi. So that just to check up that. Next. Well, this is, the Guru is represented by L and Guru is by S. So this is how the Prastara is represented by these type of symbols, L, like that. And when you can find out Prastara and Udishta of a slope of tower or perspective through this methodology. This just give a glimpse of that particular how formulae are arrived. Next. Then bathos. For Dravidian temple, Gopuras, the section decrease. It becomes simpler and more modest as one approaches the holiest spot in the temple. This example of Khanda Meru, the temple of Tanjore, is exception to the Dravidian ideas of bathos. It is pure and simple illustration of Meru Chandas. Next. Then Plava, slope. Even see, considered, our Vastu has considered how the slope of land, slope of roof that should be given. A side sloping towards the east generally brings prosperity. East and north. A side sloping towards north brings wealth. A side sloping towards south and west brings destruction of property. Simple formula, but then they are true also if you see. Geographically if you see, and scientifically if you see, they are also true. Next. I think I have dwelt here with the ancient characteristics of mathematical areas of volume calculations. We do it now with trigonometry. Oh, I think I am also exceeding time. So I think I will just go through fast. Here I have given the chaya. I mean how we come to calculation of hasta and angula. Here 8 chayas, they become 1 anu. Now chaya explanation I have given here. From the small opening of roof of the house, the sun's rays are seen as round stick. These are dust particles in sun's rays. In the dust particle, 8 times smaller is chaya. 8 times more of chaya is anu. So you see in the house, when in the roof, from the roof, the sunlight comes, the ray comes, and what you see is a dust particle. So 8 times smaller is chaya and 8 times bigger is anu. Anu is atom. Okay, and then 8 times anu is renu, 8 times renu is keshagra. Keshagra means, tip of, take one hair, and that hair thickness is keshagra. Then 8 keshagra is 1 diksha. Diksha means I think ladies will be knowing much better. In the head, you get itching, and that is because of diksha and yuka. I don't know in Tamil, what do you say, sir? Yuka and diksha? Lice, right. Lice is diksha, and the bigger one is yuka. Okay, and then 8 yuka is 1 java. Java is 1 grain of wheat, java. Okay, and 8 java is 1 angula. 1 angula, 3/4 inch is 8 java, and then 24 angulas is 1 hasta, cubit. See how nicely they arrived at the calculations. Now we have scale, so we know what is what and all that. But that imagination, that's good. Now here I have given the calculations to calculate circumference from diameter. They had no formulae, but then they had the empirical way. For 42 cubits diameter, the circumference is 42 into 3 into 42 by 6. So 133 cubic. So these are all the formulas which are given as to how to calculate the diameter, how to calculate the area. Due to lack of time, I may not go into that much. Similarly, to calculate area also, multiply radius with half the circumferences to get 12. If you follow this method and compare to our formula of trigonometry now, they will be almost same. Almost same it will come to. Next. How much space or volume will be occupied by 2.5 cubic feet? These are all the examples given. Cubits diameter of wall. Of course, you know that when you multiply this diameter 3 times, divide by 2, and then 1/6 is added, then you get the results. Similarly, the circumferences. So, for getting the area of octagon, again, how to get the side, area of the octagon, area of the side. Next slide. This is 16 sides polygon. How 16 sides polygon also? We can find the length of the sodastra. Sodastra means 16 sides. So how to find out the side, the length? That formula is given here. Next. Then if a square land is there, earlier I told in Brihat Samhita, they said that a land can be reduced to any polygon like hexagon, octagon. So this is the formula by which you can draw a square land into any polygon like hexagon, pentagon. So this is the formula given, and very important is this
No, 1 minute. Very important is this one. Yes, this Yantra Kona is there. A wise sculptor, when he wants to make a hexagon, then the length of a square, let him reduce 1/8. The remainder is the width, and it comes in the middle of the area of corner. There is only one corner in the width, but the corners of the lengths come even, that is 2. See figure. Here it is a figure, the middle figure. Yantra Shatakona. See, we are keeping this yantra in our house, isn't it? So how this yantra is drawn, that is given. Here is Astakona, and there is Panchakona. So how to arrive, those figures have been given, especially in this Astakona. Astakona, how it is arrived, it's an empirical way. 1 minute. In 24 inches side of an Astakona, you have to have a Astakona means 8 sides of equal size, equal measurement. So how to arrive at it? Then the figure given is that here you have to find out through the formulae as to how much you should leave on the sides to get same 10 inches in the middle. So if you leave 7 inches, then you get 10 inches. So for 24 inches polygon, for a 24 inches square, if you want a Astakona, then you can get 10 inches bahu. That was the empirical size that they had kept. So, next one. Well, with this I think we pray Vishwakarma, because our knowledge is nothing. It's a drop of the ocean. And he had inherited from Lord Brahma. Brahma has made the whole universe unimaginable. What we are talking is nothing. We are only just trying to learn what this universe is, isn't it? So, Vastu, Purusha, then main our Vishwakarma ji, we pray, and we pray that all the people, sarve janaha sukhino bhavantu, and let this, in their own house, let them be happy, and then let this Kupuswami Shastri Institute grow more and more and gain glory in the years to come. My blessings. Thank you. Thank you very much.